Mohenjo-Daro, in this valley, the buildings turned to glass. The sand turned to glass, and the bodies are still laying in the street right now today, holding hands, never been scavenged by animals.
They had no historical evidence of that. There's no text. It was not mentioned in any books. It was
Really?
Yep. It was found as an accident. They found it by accident.
This is evidence of a nuclear war. That's 3,000 plus degree temperature weapons fire.
They explain how the devastation looks, right? They talk about how high the temperature goes, how it looked like a sun when the explosion happened, how all the vegetation was completely wiped off and there were no plants or trees growing for the next 12 to 25 years.
They describe them as weapons that once released can't be revolted or can't be turned back, and that they will obliterate any area, any city. And they say that one of the weapons can destroy any man on 3 worlds. It's crazy stuff. This is where Oppenheimer got his famous quote when he obviously tested the nuke.
I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
In the scorching deserts of southern Pakistan lies an archaeological site that defies explanation. A city frozen in time, now shrouded in mystery and the whispers of lost civilizations. Welcome to Mohenjo-Daro. Once a thriving metropolis during the height of the ancient Indus Valley civilization, this city's remains have puzzled researchers for nearly a century. But why does this city, over 4,000 years old, seem to vanish suddenly from history? Could it be that some catastrophic event wiped it off the map? Perhaps even turning parts of it into glass. Discovered in 1922 by an Indian archaeologist, R.D. Banerjee, Mohenjo-Daro is located on the banks of the Indus River. What the world came to learn through its excavations was the stunning complexity of this civilization. At its peak, Mohenjo-Daro housed as many as 40,000 inhabitants. But the real intrigue lies in its infrastructure, a grid-like city layout, advanced water drainage systems, and meticulously built homes made of baked bricks, a city so well organized that it rivals modern urban planning techniques. But who were these people, and what led to their mysterious disappearance? Let's start by looking at what they built. The city is constructed using uniform, fired bricks, with some weighing over 15 pounds. The scale of the city is impressive, spanning more than 300 hectares, roughly the size of 500 football fields. Each house was carefully positioned to align with the cardinal directions. But how did an ancient civilization develop such precision without modern technology? A central structure, known as the Great Bath, is another remarkable feature of Mohenjo-Daro. Measuring 12 meters long and 7 meters wide, the bath is built with watertight bricks and a sophisticated drainage system, indicating that water held immense significance for the people of Mohenjo-Daro. It is one of the earliest public waterworks ever discovered. But what was the purpose of this massive structure? Was it purely for hygiene, or did it have deeper, possibly spiritual, significance? Let's pause to consider the most perplexing discovery. Some sections of the ruins appear to have been subjected to extremely high temperatures, enough to melt or vitrify stone, turning it into glass. This phenomenon is known as vitrification, something typically associated with nuclear explosions or volcanic activity. Yet, no evidence of volcanic activity or natural firestorms has been found in the region. Could it be that some ancient technology, lost to time, was capable of unleashing such destructive energy? Some theorists have gone so far as to suggest that Mohenjo-Daro might have been destroyed by an ancient nuclear explosion. It sounds far-fetched, but the vitrified remains beg for an explanation. But the mysteries don't end there. Among the discoveries were over 40 human skeletons, lying in the streets and various parts of the city. These remains were not buried in the traditional sense, indicating that whatever caused the downfall of Mohenjo-Daro was sudden and violent. Many of these skeletons showed no signs of trauma, yet some were found in postures suggesting they were fleeing from something. What could have caused such mass panic and sudden death? Was it a natural disaster, a catastrophic flood, or perhaps something even more terrifying? Now, consider this. The massive stone blocks and materials used in the city's construction were not native to the immediate region. In fact, some of the stones used in Mohenjo-Daro's construction had to be transported from quarries located over 300 kilometers away. How did they manage to move such enormous stones without the aid of modern machinery? Could they have had access to technologies we still don't fully understand? This comparison often draws parallels to the pyramids of Egypt and the stone structures of South America, where similarly, large stones were transported over great distances. The sheer size and weight of the materials used in these ancient cities challenge our understanding of what was possible in the ancient world. Another fascinating question arises when we consider the precision of Mohenjo-Daro's urban layout. The city's advanced planning and uniformity seem almost out of place in the ancient world. How did a society living over 4,000 years ago manage to create such an organized and structured cityscape without modern surveying tools? It's as though they were working with knowledge that far exceeded their time. Could they have been influenced by some advanced, now forgotten culture? Some theorists have even suggested extraterrestrial intervention, pointing to the similarity between Mohenjo-Daro's design and other mysterious ancient sites across the world. But what happened to this great city? Why was it abandoned so suddenly? While some archaeologists believe that environmental factors, such as flooding from the nearby Indus River, might have played a role, the evidence of extreme heat and vitrified ruins adds an ominous layer to the mystery. Could the people of Mohenjo-Daro have been the victims of an ancient catastrophe so powerful that it erased them from history almost instantly? As we delve deeper into the mysteries of Mohenjo-Daro, we must also consider the broader context of the Indus Valley civilization. This civilization was one of the largest of the ancient world, spanning parts of modern-day Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan. Yet despite its vast size, we know shockingly little about its people, their language, or their beliefs. Their script remains undeciphered, and their disappearance from history is as sudden as it is puzzling. And what about the artifacts found here? Pottery, jewelry, and even toys have been unearthed, but perhaps the most enigmatic discovery is the so-called dancing girl, a bronze statuette of a young woman that seems to exude a sense of sophistication and artistic flair far beyond what we would expect from a society of this age. Who was she? What role did she play in this mysterious civilization? Now, what could have caused a thriving civilization to vanish seemingly overnight? Let's begin with the most debated theory, the possibility of an ancient nuclear catastrophe. At first glance, the idea of nuclear technology existing over 4,000 years ago seems impossible. Yet, the vitrified ruins, sections of stone turned to glass by intense heat, suggest that something extraordinary happened here. In the 1970s, physicist Dr. Robert Oppenheimer, who led the Manhattan Project during World War II, was asked if the nuclear bomb tested in 1945 was the world's first atomic explosion. His response was chilling. Well, yes, in modern times. Was he hinting at an ancient nuclear event? Could Mohenjo-Daro have been the site of such an explosion? Adding to the intrigue is the lack of traditional warfare evidence in the city. No mass graves, no clear signs of battle, no damage to the structures that would suggest a large-scale conflict. Instead, the bodies found in the city were seemingly untouched by violence, lying in the streets as though something much more sinister and sudden occurred. Could this have been an accident, a release of untamed energy, or something more deliberate, akin to a weapon of unimaginable power? Then, there's the question of the city's eerie disappearance. Unlike other ancient cities that gradually declined over time, Mohenjo-Daro appears to have been abandoned swiftly, almost as if its inhabitants knew that staying would lead to their demise.
But as we look deeper into Timbuktu's history, we discover something even more astonishing. By the 15th century, Timbuktu had become a thriving intellectual hub, housing some of the greatest libraries in the world. Manuscripts covering subjects such as astronomy, mathematics, medicine, and law were studied and preserved here. Scholars from across the Islamic world traveled to this remote city, transforming it into a center of learning that rivaled some of the greatest educational institutions of the time. And yet, one question lingers. How did such an intellectual center thrive in a place so isolated?
It became an intellectual center because the scholars generally were traveling with the caravans.
Was it simply Timbuktu's strategic location along trade routes, or could there be something more? Some researchers believe that Timbuktu's placement precisely at the edge of the Sahara and along the Niger River may have held deeper significance. Could ancient civilizations have chosen this location based on an advanced understanding of geography or even astronomy? A provocative theory suggests that Timbuktu might lie on one of the Earth's natural energy pathways, ley lines, that have been revered by ancient cultures across the world. Could its success as a city of knowledge and wealth have been linked to its placement on one of these energy nodes? As we ponder these questions, another mystery unfolds. Recent discoveries have revealed that many of the original manuscripts from Timbuktu's libraries, some dating back over 700 years, are missing. Where did they go? Were they destroyed or were they stolen? Whispers of a conspiracy emerge here, an organized effort perhaps by European colonial powers to seize and suppress Timbuktu's ancient knowledge. Some believe the manuscripts were hidden by local scholars to protect them from invaders, and that their secrets remain buried, known only to a select few. Today, historians and treasure hunters alike search for these lost manuscripts, hoping to unlock the wisdom they contain. But this brings us to an even greater mystery. What exactly was in these manuscripts? Could they have contained knowledge that the world wasn't ready for? Advanced technologies or philosophies that challenged the dominant worldviews of their time?
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
Were these manuscripts lost to history or intentionally kept from the world? As we explore these questions, we are reminded that Timbuktu's story is not just about the past. It is a cautionary tale about the fragility of human progress. What knowledge have we, as a civilization, lost over the millennia? Could the lost wisdom of Timbuktu have changed the course of human history? As we dive deeper into the story of Timbuktu, an unsettling thought begins to emerge. What if the true wealth of this city was not in gold, but in knowledge? And what if that knowledge was too dangerous for the world to possess? Timbuktu's scholars compiled manuscripts on topics ranging from astronomy to medicine, from theology to mathematics. By the 15th century, Timbuktu housed an estimated 700,000 manuscripts, forming one of the largest intellectual archives of the time. But here's where the mystery deepens. Much of this vast collection has vanished. Entire libraries were raided, collections disappeared, and even today, many manuscripts remain unaccounted for. Some of the surviving texts mention ideas that seem far ahead of their time, such as advanced mathematical concepts and detailed astronomical observations. There are even cryptic references to knowledge of the cosmos that surpasses what we believed was understood in the 14th and 15th centuries. Could it be that Timbuktu's scholars possessed knowledge far beyond what we know today? And if so, who or what was responsible for the suppression of this information? Some researchers point to the colonial history of Africa. As European powers began their conquest of the continent in the 19th century, they systematically dismantled much of the region's cultural heritage. And there are rumors that the French in particular seized many manuscripts from Timbuktu and shipped them back to Europe. Others suggest that these texts were deliberately hidden or destroyed because they contained information that could challenge the scientific revolution taking place in Europe. The truth remains elusive, but what we do know is that Timbuktu's intellectual legacy has only been partially uncovered. Many of the remaining manuscripts are locked away in private collections, deteriorating from neglect. Could these hidden texts hold the answers to the mysteries that still surround Timbuktu? But the intrigue does not end with the manuscripts. Archaeologists working in the region have uncovered ruins of other ancient cities near Timbuktu, suggesting the area was part of a larger, interconnected civilization. Some of the stones used in Timbuktu's structures weigh several tons and were transported from quarries miles away. How could these feats of engineering have been accomplished without modern machinery? And could there be a connection between the builders of Timbuktu and the ancient Egyptians? Adding to the mystery, some of these structures remain unfinished, as though the builders abruptly stopped their work. Why would a city so rich in knowledge and wealth suddenly fall into decline? Environmental changes may provide part of the answer. As the Sahara continued to expand, trade routes shifted, and the resources that once sustained Timbuktu dwindled. But others suggest that external forces may have played a role. Some theorists argue that jealous foreign powers or even secret societies conspired to bring about the city's downfall. One of the most persistent theories involves the lost riches of Timbuktu. According to legend, Mansa Musa's wealth wasn't only in gold. He may have possessed ancient artifacts and manuscripts from a forgotten civilization. Some believe that these treasures remain hidden beneath the city, waiting to be discovered. Could Timbuktu's greatest secret be something far more valuable than gold? As we conclude our journey, one thing is clear: Timbuktu's mysteries are far from solved. What knowledge was lost, and why? What still lies hidden beneath centuries of sand and secrecy? Recent efforts to preserve Timbuktu's heritage have been met with both success and challenge. Instability in the region and the harsh desert climate threaten the remnants of the city's once great libraries. Yet, new archaeological techniques such as ground-penetrating radar have revealed that entire sections of the city may still be buried. Could these hidden chambers hold the answers to the questions we've been seeking? Or could they contain even greater secrets? Secrets that could reshape our understanding of history, civilization, and the very nature of knowledge.
The treasury's purpose remains debated. Was it a royal tomb, a temple, or something else entirely? Local legends speak of hidden treasures within, a theory that has captivated treasure hunters for generations. Delving deeper, we encounter the street of facades, lined with tombs and houses. Each structure tells a story, their intricate carvings hinting at Nabatean beliefs and way of life. The royal tombs, the urn tomb, silk tomb, and Corinthian tomb, showcase the grandeur afforded to Petra's elite. Ascending 800 rock-cut steps to the monastery, Ad-Dair, we meet one of Petra's most impressive monuments. Measuring 47 meters wide and 48 meters high, nearly the height of a 16-story skyscraper and wider than an Olympic swimming pool is long, it dwarfs the treasury. Named for the crosses carved inside, it was repurposed as a Christian church during the Byzantine period. What ceremonies took place within these sacred halls? Petra is the rose-red city half as old as time, penned John William Bergen, capturing its timeless allure. But Petra's marvels extend beyond grand facades. The city's ingenious water management is perhaps its most remarkable achievement. In a desert receiving less than 15 centimeters of annual rainfall, the Nabateans developed an extensive network of dams, cisterns, and channels. This allowed them to capture and store rainwater, transforming Petra into a lush oasis capable of supporting up to 30,000 people. Recent discoveries have unveiled complex hydraulic engineering rivaling modern systems. Ceramic pipelines and rock-cut channels demonstrate sophisticated understanding of hydraulics. Petra's location made it a critical nexus of trade routes connecting Arabia, Egypt, Syria, and the Mediterranean. Wealth from the incense and spice trade fueled its prosperity. However, shifts in trade routes and the rise of sea trade led to its eventual abandonment. Nearby, Little Petra, Sikh al-Barid, adds to the historical tapestry. This smaller canyon features buildings and tombs carved into cliffs, possibly serving as a suburb or caravan rest stop. The painted house within boasts one of the few surviving Nabatean frescoes, a rare glimpse into their artistry. The grandeur of Petra invites comparisons to other megalithic structures. Stonehenge's sarsen stones weigh up to 25 tons each, transported and erected vertically. In contrast, Petra's monuments are intricately carved directly into sandstone cliffs, requiring precise removal rather than movement of stone. This subtractive process demanded a different engineering mastery, much like a sculptor releasing a figure from marble. Comparing Petra to Machu Picchu reveals fascinating parallels. Both ancient cities adapted to challenging terrains, showcasing their civilization's ability to harmonize with nature. The Inca engineered terraces and water channels to manage rainfall, akin to the Nabateans' water systems. Culturally, both sites reflect deep spiritual connections. Machu Picchu aligns with astronomical events, and researchers suggest Petra's design incorporates celestial alignments. Could these similarities indicate a universal approach among ancient peoples to architecture and astronomy? To grasp Petra's scale, imagine the megalithic blocks used in its construction. Some stones weigh several tons, comparable to the largest blocks in the Great Pyramid of Giza, which weigh up to 80 tons. Yet unlike the pyramids, where stones were quarried, transported and assembled, Petra's grand edifices were hewn directly from cliffs. This required not only architectural vision, but precise execution. Any error was irreversible. It's akin to carving an entire cathedral into a mountainside, a feat challenging even today. Conspiracy theories have swirled around Petra. Some speculate it was more than a trading hub, a repository of ancient knowledge or sacred relics. Theories suggest the Ark of the Covenant or extraterrestrial artifacts could be hidden within its depths. These notions, while lacking evidence, fuel the imagination and underscore Petra's enigmatic allure. Popular culture further cements Petra's place in modern mythology. In 1989, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade featured the treasury as the entrance to the Temple of the Sun, where the Holy Grail was hidden. This portrayal introduced Petra to a global audience, sparking renewed interest. As Indiana Jones said, "It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage."
When we think of pyramids, our minds immediately journey to Egypt. The towering Giza Plateau, with its majestic stone structures, has long captured the world's fascination. But what if we told you that Egypt didn't build the first pyramids? Long before the sands of the Sahara surrounded the grand monuments of the pharaohs, a lesser-known civilization to the south built pyramids that have stood for millennia. Today, these mysterious structures quietly guard their ancient secrets. This is the story of Meroe, an ancient city in the heart of modern-day Sudan, where the first man-made pyramids may have risen and where we begin to unravel a mystery that challenges everything we thought we knew about ancient history. Let us set the scene. We are not in Egypt, but in the vast expanse of the Sudanese desert. Here, nestled in a stark, arid landscape, lie over 200 pyramids, concentrated in a city that once rivaled the grandeur of any ancient Egyptian metropolis. This city is Meroe, the capital of the powerful kingdom of Kush, a civilization that flourished for nearly 1,000 years. But Meroe's legacy is far more than a simple footnote in Egyptian history. It's a place where the lines between myth, architecture, and human achievement blur into one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of antiquity. Our modern awareness of Meroe began in the 19th century, when European explorers ventured into the Sudanese desert. In 1821, they uncovered these stunning pyramids, which had been hidden for centuries beneath the sands. The explorers found a cluster of pyramids, some grand and towering, others smaller and more modest, yet all steeply angled with narrow bases, distinctly different from the broad, sloping forms of Egyptian pyramids. And while Egypt's pyramids were grand tombs for pharaohs, Meroe's served a different purpose. They were built for nobles and royals alike. But when exactly were these pyramids built and why? Archaeologists determined that Meroe's pyramids were constructed between 300 BCE and 350 CE, during a time when the Kingdom of Kush was a powerful force in Africa. This makes Meroe's pyramids younger than Egypt's Old Kingdom pyramids, but their purpose and design remain equally as fascinating. Many scholars theorize that Meroe's architectural style was influenced by earlier structures from the region, potentially dating back even further. Transporting the massive stones used to build these pyramids was no small feat. Some of the stones were quarried from sites over 25 miles away and weighed several tons. How could an ancient civilization lacking modern tools and technology achieve such monumental tasks? The logistics of transporting and constructing these structures in an unforgiving desert environment continue to puzzle researchers. To put this in perspective, the Great Pyramid of Giza contains stones weighing up to 80 tons, whereas the largest pyramid at Meroe, the Pyramid of Amenishaketo, used stones weighing between 1 and 2 tons. While lighter, these stones were no less challenging to transport, raising questions about how these ancient builders accomplished such feats. What's more intriguing is that Meroe's pyramids were built in a different context than those of Egypt. While Egyptian pyramids served as grand burial tombs for kings and pharaohs, the pyramids at Meroe were constructed for a broader group of nobles, queens, and princes. But why did the people of Meroe embrace pyramid building at all? Inside the tombs of Meroe, archaeologists found a remarkable fusion of Egyptian and African symbolism. Hieroglyphics and carvings covered the walls, but the faces depicted were distinctly African, signifying a culture that blended Egyptian influences with its own deep-rooted identity. Meroe wasn't merely a reflection of Egypt, it was a civilization that commanded power and respect in its own right. Stretching over 600 miles along the Nile, the Kingdom of Kush became a dominant force in trade and culture across northeast Africa. Yet the pyramids of Meroe raise more questions than they answer. Why, after centuries of success, did the Kingdom of Kush turn to pyramid building? Some scholars believe these pyramids were intended to strengthen Meroe's political and spiritual power, symbolizing divine kingship and cementing the kingdom's claim to leadership in the region. Others argue that they served as a tribute to Egyptian influences, while the most radical theory suggests that Meroe may have been the true originator of pyramid building. Let's consider this possibility. Recent archaeological evidence has revealed older, smaller pyramid-like structures in Sudan, dating as far back as the 8th century BCE, long before the construction of Egypt's famous monuments. These burial mounds, known as tumuli, could have evolved into the grand pyramids we see at Meroe today. Could it be that Egypt's most iconic structures were influenced by the Kushites rather than the other way around? It's a theory that challenges the traditional narrative of history, suggesting that Meroe's civilization may have pioneered innovations long before their Egyptian neighbors. As we dig deeper into the sands of history, the mysteries surrounding Meroe's pyramids only grow. Could the origins of pyramid building lie not in Egypt, but in this forgotten kingdom to the south? Meroe was more than just a city of pyramids, it was a thriving center of industry and trade with remarkable advancements that rivaled many other ancient civilizations. One of Meroe's most significant achievements was its mastery of ironworking. Scattered across the landscape, archaeologists have uncovered iron furnaces, a testament to a sophisticated industry that flourished long before many other ancient civilizations had harnessed such technology. This begs the question: how did the Kingdom of Kush develop these advanced techniques? Some believe that the iron was used to forge weapons, providing the Kushite warriors with a formidable edge in battle. Others argue that Meroe's iron was used for agricultural tools, enabling the cultivation of vast swathes of fertile land along the Nile, and allowing the kingdom to sustain its growing population. But perhaps the most intriguing theory suggests that Meroe's iron products were traded far and wide, reaching the Mediterranean and perhaps even India, indicating that this kingdom played a central role in the ancient global economy. Equally fascinating is Meroe's sophisticated water management system. Archaeologists have discovered an elaborate network of reservoirs and dams that allowed the people of Meroe to control the seasonal floodwaters of the Nile, ensuring a stable supply of water for agriculture. This level of engineering sophistication was far ahead of its time, surpassing even some of the water management techniques used in Egypt. Could it be that Meroe, not Egypt, held the key to ancient water engineering? And how much of this knowledge was passed down or lost over the centuries? But not all of Meroe's mysteries come from clear evidence. Some of the most tantalizing questions remain shrouded in conspiracy and speculation. One popular theory suggests that Meroe's decline was not a result of natural collapse but of deliberate sabotage. After the Romans conquered Egypt, could they have seen Meroe as a threat? Did they systematically erase this powerful kingdom from history to secure their dominance over the Nile region? This theory becomes even more intriguing when we consider the state of the pyramids themselves. Unlike the carefully maintained pyramids of Egypt, the pyramids of Meroe were intentionally defaced. Their smooth limestone casing was stripped away, leaving them exposed to the harsh desert winds. But who did this, and why? Was it Roman forces seeking to obliterate Meroe's legacy, or was there an internal conflict that led to the destruction of these grand monuments? Then there are whispers of a lost treasure buried within the pyramids, a fortune that has yet to be discovered. But perhaps the most valuable treasure Meroe has to offer is not gold or jewels, but knowledge. The understanding of an ancient world that continues to challenge everything we thought we knew about history. The pyramids of Meroe may not be as famous as the pyramids of Giza, but they are more numerous and cover a broader landscape that once teemed with life and activity. The construction techniques, while different, display an ingenuity that rivals that of Egypt's builders. And while Egypt's pyramids were built for a select few god-kings, Meroe's were designed for a wider range of society, reflecting a more diverse and inclusive social structure. Mystery, intrigue, and a lost civilization waiting to be rediscovered. This is the true legacy of Meroe. As the sands continue to shift over the ancient city, they may one day reveal even more secrets about this extraordinary civilization. Could it be that Meroe, not Egypt, is where the story of pyramids and so much more truly began? The Reshet structure, often referred to as the Eye of the Sahara, is one of the most captivating and mysterious geological formations on Earth. Situated in the heart of the Sahara Desert, this massive circular formation has intrigued scientists, explorers, and theorists for decades. Its discovery and subsequent studies have led to a wealth of theories and speculation, reflecting the profound mystery surrounding its origin. Was a massive structure once here that suddenly vanished? Could it have had a massive impact on planet Earth? Or could it be an ancient mining site used by perhaps aliens or another advanced civilization? Could humans have had a role in this mysterious formation? The Reshet structure first came to the attention of the scientific community in the 1930s, when French geologist Théodore Monod embarked on an expedition to explore the vast and largely uncharted Sahara Desert. Monod's expedition was primarily focused on geological mapping, but during his travels, he noticed a peculiar circular formation that stood out starkly against the otherwise monotonous landscape of the desert. This structure, visible from higher elevations, appeared as a large bullseye-like pattern in the sand, prompting initial curiosity, but not immediate investigation. It wasn't until the 1960s, during the era of space exploration, that the true scale and nature of the Reshet structure were fully appreciated. Astronauts aboard NASA's Gemini 4 mission captured high-resolution images of Earth, including the Sahara Desert, from space. From this vantage point, the structure was clearly visible as a colossal, circular formation stretching across a significant portion of the desert. These images ignited interest within the scientific community, leading to more focused research and exploration. Upon its discovery, the Reshet structure's origin was the subject of intense debate and speculation. Its nearly perfect circular shape led many to hypothesize that it was the result of a meteorite impact, as such craters often exhibit similar features. However, as scientists began to study the structure more closely, they realized that the truth was far more complex and mysterious. One of the most striking aspects of the Reshet structure is its size. The formation spans approximately 40 kilometers in diameter, making it visible from space and one of the most prominent geological features in the Sahara Desert. To put this into perspective, the structure is roughly equivalent in size to the city of Paris or the entire area of New York City. This immense size, coupled with its nearly perfect concentric rings, added to the mystery and allure of the structure, leading to numerous theories and speculations. Its size is so immense that it can only be fully appreciated from high altitude or space, where it appears as a giant bullseye in the vastness of the Sahara Desert. Detailed geological studies eventually debunked the meteorite impact theory. There was no evidence of the high-pressure minerals, such as shocked quartz, that are typically associated with impact events. Instead, researchers determined that the Reshet structure was a deeply eroded geologic dome composed of different layers of sedimentary rock that had been exposed over millions of years. The concentric rings were found to be the result of differential erosion. where harder rock layers resisted erosion more effectively than softer layers, creating the distinct bullseye pattern visible today. The Richat structure's unique geology offers several fascinating insights into Earth's distant past. The structure is composed of Proterozoic sedimentary rock, which is estimated to be over 2.5 billion years old, making it one of the oldest geological formations on the planet. The central part of the structure is composed of Ordovician rocks, which are about 480 million years old. This wide range of geological ages provides a window into the Earth's early history, offering valuable clues about the geological processes that shaped the Sahara region. One of the most visually striking aspects of the Richat structure is its resemblance to a human eye when viewed from space, a feature that has earned it the nickname Eye of the Sahara. The formation's circular shape, combined with its concentric rings, gives the impression of an eye gazing out from the desert, a phenomenon that has captured the imagination of many and contributed to its mystical aura. While the idea that the Richat structure was created by a meteorite impact has been discredited, the exact process behind its formation remains a subject of scientific debate. The most widely accepted theory suggests that the structure is the result of a volcanic eruption that never fully breached the Earth's surface. According to this theory, magma from deep within the Earth began to push upwards, creating a domed uplift in the overlying sedimentary rock layers. However, instead of forming a volcano, the magma cooled and solidified below the surface, leading to the gradual collapse of the dome. Over millions of years, erosion exposed the concentric rings that are visible today. Another theory posits that the Richat structure could have been formed by hydrothermal activity. This process involves the circulation of hot water through rock layers, causing chemical alterations that can lead to the formation of circular patterns. Although less widely accepted than the volcanic theory, it remains a possibility that some scientists continue to explore. The formation of the Richat structure is also believed to be connected to the tectonic activity that shaped the Sahara region. The Sahara Desert, though largely flat today, was once a much more dynamic landscape, influenced by the movement of tectonic plates. The structure may represent the remnants of a much larger geological process that occurred when the African continent was still undergoing significant tectonic upheaval. The immense size and complexity of the Richat structure make the idea of human construction seem highly improbable. Spanning a diameter of 40 kilometers, with rings that are perfectly concentric and several kilometers wide, the structure would have required an immense amount of labor, advanced engineering knowledge, and a purpose that remains difficult to conceive. Additionally, there is no evidence of human activity or artifacts that would suggest the structure was man-made. However, some fringe theories have suggested that the Richat structure could have been an ancient construction, possibly by a lost civilization. These theories are often linked to the legend of Atlantis, the mythical city described by Plato. Proponents of this theory argue that the structure's size, shape, and location correspond to descriptions of Atlantis, leading them to speculate that it could be the remains of this legendary city. This theory has gained traction in recent years, fueled by the structure's circular shape, size, and location in the Sahara Desert. The theory suggests that the Richat structure could be the remains of Atlantis, as described by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Plato's dialogues describe Atlantis as a powerful and advanced civilization that existed around 9,000 years before his time. He depicted it as a large island, divided into concentric rings of land and water, located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which is commonly associated with the Strait of Gibraltar. Proponents of the Atlantis theory argue that the Richat structure's concentric rings closely match Plato's description, and its location in the Sahara Desert could correspond to the island's destruction and subsequent desertification. Establishing the age of the Richat structure has been a complex task due to the varied composition of its geological layers. However, scientists have been able to estimate its age based on the ages of the rocks that make up its various layers. The central part of the structure is composed of Ordovician rocks, approximately 500 million years old, while the outer layers are made up of even older Proterozoic rocks, dating back more than 2.5 billion years. The age of the structure has been roughly determined through radiometric dating, a technique that measures the decay of radioactive isotopes in rocks to determine their age. By analyzing the different layers of rock within the structure, scientists have pieced together a timeline of its formation, revealing that the structure is one of the oldest geological formations on Earth. The Risha structure's resemblance to a human eye when viewed from space has led to various symbolic interpretations. Some theorists propose that the structure was designed by an ancient civilization to serve as a signal or marker, visible from great distances, possibly even to extraterrestrial beings. This idea taps into the broader theme of ancient astronaut theories, which suggest that advanced civilizations or extraterrestrial visitors played a role in shaping Earth's history. The region surrounding the structure is not devoid of interest, both geologically and archaeologically. The Sahara Desert, though largely inhospitable today, was once a lush and fertile region, home to ancient human civilizations and a diverse array of flora and fauna. Evidence of ancient river systems, now long dried up, has been found throughout the Sahara, indicating that it was once a much more habitable environment. While the most widely accepted theory is that the Risha structure is a natural geological formation, the lack of definitive evidence for its origin has led to various alternative theories. Some suggest that the structure could be the remnants of a massive ancient caldera, the result of a supervolcano that once existed in the region. This theory posits that the structure was formed by a massive volcanic eruption that collapsed the magma chamber, creating the concentric rings seen today. However, this theory is not widely supported, as there is no evidence of volcanic rock or ash in the area. Another theory proposes that the Risha structure could have been a site of ancient mining activity. The circular shape and concentric rings could have resulted from systematic mining operations, where different layers of rock were removed over time. However, there is no archaeological evidence to support this theory, and it is unlikely that ancient peoples would have had the technology or resources to undertake such a massive project. While these ideas are largely speculative, they highlight the enduring fascination with the Risha structure and its potential significance in human history.
Originally a modest Phoenician town called Baalath, Baalbek was dedicated to the worship of Baal, a deity associated with the sun and storms crucial to agricultural rituals. The city's transformation began in earnest after being conquered by Alexander the Great in 334 BC, integrating Greek cultural and architectural elements, a testament to Alexander's strategy of cultural fusion across his empire. This set the stage for later Roman expansions that capitalized on Baalbek's strategic and religious significance. Roman influence in Baalbek reached its zenith in the 1st century BC, when ambitious construction projects transformed the city into a grand ceremonial hub. The Temple of Jupiter, an architectural giant of the Roman Empire, originally featured 54 colossal granite columns, each standing 70 feet tall. Today, only 6 remain, but they still dominate the landscape and offer a glimpse into the past grandeur. Adjacent to this, the Temple of Bacchus stands as a marvel of Roman decorative art, richly adorned with carvings that depict mythological scenes and festive rituals.
Myths are the memory bank of our species.
Treating the myths as a way of passing on true information.
Yes.
The nearby Temple of Venus, with its distinctive circular design, deviates from traditional Roman architectural practices and illustrates the syncretic blending of Roman and local religious traditions. The construction of Baalbek, particularly the transportation and installation of its immense limestone blocks, invites comparisons to other architectural wonders like the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge, highlighting the Romans' advanced engineering skills. More than just an architectural feat, Baalbek served as a cultural nucleus, drawing pilgrims and viewers from across the empire for religious festivals and games, a fusion of Roman and indigenous traditions in a vibrant public spectacle. When compared to other iconic Roman structures like the Pantheon in Rome, Baalbek is distinguished by its sheer scale and the logistical challenges involved in erecting such monumental structures far from Rome. The Pantheon, with its vast dome and central oculus, showcases Rome's architectural ambition in an urban context, similar in spirit, but executed under different circumstances. Both sites exemplify the Roman Empire's architectural vision and its capacity to leverage resources and technology throughout its extensive dominions. The colossal stone blocks within the Temple of Jupiter at Baalbek stand as profound testaments to the exceptional engineering skills of their ancient architects. these megaliths continue to captivate scholars and spark debates about the construction techniques employed to maneuver such massive structures into place. Central to the Baalbek complex is the trilithon, 3 immense stone blocks that form the base of the Temple of Jupiter. Each block extends about 64 feet long, 13 feet high, and 14 feet wide, with each weighing roughly 800 tons. The blocks are meticulously fitted together without the use of mortar, showcasing a remarkable precision that required sophisticated planning, abundant resources, and the innovative use of simple mechanical principles like levers and inclined planes, alongside considerable human and animal labor. Located approximately 900 meters from the main temple area, in a nearby quarry, rests the stone of the pregnant woman. This enormous stone, about 69 feet in length and weighing approximately 1,000 tons, remains where it was originally carved. Named after a local legend that suggests touching the stone could aid in safe childbirth, this monolith underscores the cultural and mythological importance these stones hold in local traditions. In 2014, an excavation at the same quarry uncovered an even larger stone, measuring 64 feet in length and estimated to weigh about 1,650 tons, making it the largest stone ever carved by human hands known today. This find has significantly broadened our understanding of the technological prowess and capabilities of the ancient builders. When compared to other ancient structures, the scale of Baalbek's stones is particularly striking. For instance, Stonehenge in England, famous for its prehistoric circle of standing stones, features the largest stone weighing around 30 tons, a fraction of the size of Baalbek's stones. The logistics involved in transporting the Stonehenge stones over considerable distances also demonstrate remarkable ingenuity, but on a different scale. Furthermore, the Egyptian pyramids, notably the Great Pyramid of Giza, primarily utilize limestone blocks weighing between 2 to 15 tons, with the largest granite blocks in the King's Chamber weighing between 25 to 80 tons.
But remember that the ancient Egyptians tell us in many of their texts that everything they knew was a legacy.
The Baalbek stones significantly surpass these in size, highlighting the unique challenges and advanced skills needed for their transport and placement. Unlike the pyramids, which were primarily tombs, the temples at Baalbek had ceremonial and religious functions, showing different motivations for employing such massive stones in ancient construction. This comparison not only showcases the monumental scale of Baalbek's engineering feats, but also emphasizes the varied architectural and cultural roles these structures played in their respective societies. The Baalbek temple complex, renowned for its colossal stone blocks, exemplifies one of the ancient world's most remarkable engineering feats. The construction of this monumental site demanded more than sheer physical force. It required intricate planning, sophisticated organizational skills, and a profound grasp of engineering and physics principles. These combined factors not only challenge our contemporary understanding of ancient technology, but also highlight the remarkable ingenuity of our ancestors.
The architectural magnificence of Baalbek was a deliberate reflection of the Roman Empire's vast ambition and its intent to manifest power and divine approval. The grand scale of the temples served dual purposes, both religious and political, designed to reinforce Rome's authority in the region and to impress upon the sanctity of the site. This complex was strategically crafted to inspire awe and underscore the Roman presence. The movement of Baalbek's massive stones likely involved the use of large tree trunks as rollers, with the stones themselves mounted on sledges. These sledges served as platforms that distributed the weight of the stones, preventing the rollers from becoming embedded in the ground. Historical accounts suggest that paths may have been lubricated with olive oil to reduce friction, facilitating the movement of these enormous weights over significant distances. The method of positioning these gargantuan stones is still debated among historians. It is probable that wooden cranes, akin to those used in medieval building projects, were employed. These cranes would have utilized ropes, pulleys, and possibly tread wheels to enhance the force applied by human or animal labor. Another likely technique was the construction of large earth ramps that provided a gradual incline for dragging the stones into precise locations. Lever systems, which utilized long wooden beams, might have also been employed to lift and position the stones.
requiring a sophisticated understanding of leverage mechanics, but less construction material than ramps. Comparatively, the construction techniques postulated for Baalbek bear resemblance to those speculated for the building of the Egyptian pyramids, especially the Great Pyramid of Giza. Similar to Baalbek, the pyramid construction likely involved sledges and potentially rollers, with ancient Egyptian art depicting the use of water as a lubricant. For elevation, the Egyptians are believed to have used a mix of ramps and lever systems, built over a millennium prior to Baalbek. The pyramids exemplify a continuity in advanced engineering techniques across different cultures and eras, highlighting a shared architectural legacy in the ancient world. This shared heritage illustrates the deep-seated ingenuity in ancient construction practices, connecting diverse cultures through their iconic architectural feats.
Perched high atop the rugged peaks of the Taurus Mountains in southeastern Turkey, the tomb of King Antiochus Theos of Commagene at Mount Nemrut beckons with the whispers of ancient secrets and celestial mysteries. Erected over 2 millennia ago, this monumental sanctuary is not only a marvel of Hellenistic engineering, but also a cryptic canvas of colossal gods and inscriptions that blend the myths of East and West. As the sun rises and sets, aligning perfectly with the stone behemoths that guard this sacred summit, the mystery deepens. What divine ambitions did this forgotten king harbor, and what secrets lie buried beneath these stone giants, silently watching over the empire of Commagene? For centuries, the towering statues of Mount Nemrut stood silently, known only to the local people who wove their existence into the fabric of local myths, calling it the throne of the gods. This mix of reverence and legend kept the site tucked away in the annals of folklore until a twist of fate brought it back into the light. In the 1880s, Karl Sester, a German road engineer working on infrastructure projects for the Ottoman Empire, stumbled upon these majestic relics not out of archaeological zeal, but through sheer happenstance. His subsequent sketches and reports were the first to unveil the grandeur of Nemrut's statues to the Western world, sparking a wave of interest among European archaeologists and historians. The rediscovery of Mount Nemrut set the stage for a series of explorations that would delve deeper into its historical and cultural contexts. Shortly after Sester, Osman Hamdi Bey, an Ottoman archaeologist and painter, conducted more systematic studies at the site. He proposed that the Grand Mound could very well be the tomb of King Antiochus III of Commagene, an idea supported by the inscriptions and formidable statues that guard the site. This period marked a significant turning point, drawing a flurry of academic expeditions that pieced together the narrative of King Antiochus I, while enriching the field of Near Eastern archaeology. The artistic styles of the statues, with their blend of Persian, Hellenistic, and indigenous elements, provide a fascinating glimpse into the cultural interplay of the Hellenistic period, post-Alexander the Great's conquests. This fusion of artistic influences offers a window into the dynamic cultural exchanges of the era, further underscoring the historical significance of southeastern Turkey as a cultural crossroads. Perched at an altitude of 2,134 meters in the rugged Taurus Mountains, Mount Nemrut commands a view that stretches vast and wide, overseeing the Euphrates River Valley. This strategic and visual dominance was no accident. It was a clear symbol of power and divine status, meticulously chosen by King Antiochus I. The site's layout, with its statues and burial mound aligned to catch the rays of the rising sun during the equinox and the setting sun at the summer solstice, underscores the solar worship prevalent during Antiochus's reign. This astronomical alignment not only highlights the king's desire to link himself with the cosmos, but also speaks volumes about the sophisticated understanding of celestial patterns by ancient civilizations. The mystical heights of Mount Nemrut in southeastern Turkey are not only a testament to ancient engineering, but also to the pioneering spirit of those who have uncovered its secrets. In 1953, American archaeologist Teresa Girl began a systematic exploration of this enigmatic site, which was particularly groundbreaking as it was one of the first major archaeological projects led by a woman. Her work, supported by institutions like the Bollingen Foundation, the American Philosophical Society, and later the National Geographic Society, was crucial for the sustained excavation and research that would follow. Despite numerous challenges, Including harsh weather conditions and logistical issues in transporting equipment up the mountain, Girl's team persevered. Using traditional excavation techniques, Girl and her crew were meticulous in their approach, ensuring the integrity of every artifact and structure discovered. Their efforts unveiled not just the colossal statues, but also a series of reliefs and inscriptions that illuminated the cultural and religious life of the Kingdom of Commagene. These findings were pivotal in confirming that the tumulus was indeed the burial site of Antiochus III, aligning with earlier hypotheses about the site's purpose. As archaeological methods advanced, later explorations at Mount Nemrut incorporated technologies such as digital mapping and photogrammetry. These tools allowed archaeologists to capture high-resolution images of the site, which facilitated precise measurements and detailed records of the statues and inscriptions without risking physical damage. Techniques like ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography were also employed to probe the internal structure of the tumulus, searching for potential burial chambers or other archaeological features without the need for invasive digging. Further studies have focused on the astronomical significance of the site's layout. Researchers suggest that the arrangement of the statues may align with the rising and setting of the sun during solstices and equinoxes, hinting at these events' religious or ceremonial importance in Antiochus's ideology. From the tomb of Antiochus the Bion at Mount Nemrut to the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, there lies a fascinating comparison. Both sites were built as tombs for their respective rulers, serving as monumental tributes to their power and divine status. However, while the pyramids are primarily massive stone structures designed to house the pharaoh's remains and belongings for the afterlife, Mount Nemrut combines burial purposes with a religious sanctuary, featuring colossal statues that showcase a blend of Hellenistic and Persian influences. Moreover, both sites exhibit significant astronomical alignments. The pyramids are meticulously aligned to the cardinal points, possibly reflecting celestial phenomena, while Nemrut's layout seems to focus on solar events, emphasizing the importance of astronomy in ancient religious and burial practices. This fascinating alignment hints at a deeper connection between celestial phenomena and the divine rites of ancient rulers, suggesting that these majestic sites were not only final resting places, but also key to understanding the cosmos itself. The artifacts and inscriptions unearthed at Mount Nemrut serve as crucial pieces in piecing together the reign of Antiochus the Theos and the syncretic fabric of the Commagene kingdom. It's truly fascinating how these discoveries offer deep insights into his ambitions and ideological foundations. The inscriptions on Mount Nemrut are a linguistic blend of Greek and Persian, underscoring the dual influences that shaped the kingdom. Greek served as the lingua franca of the broader Hellenistic world, while Persian reflected the local traditions and the legacy of the Achaemenid Empire from which Commagene emerged. Delving deeper into the inscriptions, they frequently include detailed genealogies that link Antiochus to deities and illustrious rulers. This not only legitimized his rule, but also positioned him as a cultural and celestial bridge. Among these, the Nomos of Antiochus inscription is particularly noteworthy. This foundational text outlined the religious and administrative laws Antiochus established, detailing ritual practices and festivals to honor him alongside the gods after his death, effectively creating a state religion that deified the king. Turning our gaze to the statues and reliefs, the iconography at Mount Nemrut is nothing short of spectacular. The statues depict Antiochus the Tarn alongside a pantheon of gods such as Zeus Oromazdes, Apollo Mithras, and Hercules Artagnes, merging Greek and Persian divine figures. These statues are not only colossal but intricately carved from stone, showcasing a blend of artistic styles that highlight Antiochus's role as a mediator between his people and the divine. This symbolic placement elevates him to a semi-divine status, visually asserting his place in the cosmic order. An interesting parallel can be drawn between the statues at Mount Nemrut and China's terracotta army. Both serve profound funerary and commemorative purposes, standing as guardians over the afterlives of their respective rulers and as monumental tributes to their divine status. However, while the terracotta army underscores the military might of the Chinese emperor, the statues at Mount Nemrut emphasize a blend of military prowess and divine wisdom, reflecting Antiochus's unique approach to rulership. Moreover, one of the most captivating theories about Mount Nemrut concerns its astronomical alignment. Researchers suggest that the arrangement of the statues and the tumulus itself may align with astronomical phenomena such as solstices and equinoxes. This alignment might mark significant dates like Antiochus's birthday or coronation day, or serve to highlight seasonal festivals that reinforced his divine kingship.